Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2019, and this is a brand new series here, my second of Pro Cyclist mode. The first one is the Stage Racer specialty. It's a long continuation. I've had a few years of doing that series. The Stage Racer is your Grand Tour type, the one who you want to win the Tour de France. Something I'm still working to achieve, by the way, for this game, for this series. So, this one, well, this one's a little bit different. Going for how do you put this? A classics rider. There's different specialties within a classics rider. There are some different directions you can go with that. Here's what I'm intending to do with my classics rider. So I want to make sure they have a good flat rating, so that they can handle the pace, the battle, and I want to make sure they have a good cobble rating, because that is definitely one of the primary types of cobbles, and I would love to be, I think one of my ultimate goals is going to be to win Paris-Roubaix. So cobbles will be a big target. So that one's for sure. And then beyond that, what to do next? What else would I do besides just going for a Paris-Roubaix? Well, looking at the other monuments, the other top classics races out there, I think you've got to point your finger at things like Liège-Bastogne-Liège, which means I'm going to need a really good hills rating as well. As I go to set up my character here, looking for a nondescript picture. These are the real riders in the tour. I, myself, am not a real rider in the tour, so a nondescript picture like this, where they're in the helmet and the sunglasses, but I have a beard, and this is the one I'm actually using for my other. We'll go ahead and use that one again. Alright, so here we go. Main axis is definitely going to be Northern Classics. But secondary axis, that's the tricky part. So, like I said, I'm going to want a good flat rating. I'm going to want a good cobbles rating. Those two are huge. I'm going to need good acceleration. I'm going to need good stamina, because a lot of the top classics are really long races. I don't need time trial, I don't need prologue, I don't need recovery, as those are for stage races. Sprint itself, gonna have to have a little bit of sprint. But if I'm gonna win something like Liège-Bastogne-Liège, I will need a good hills rating. Not necessarily a mountain rating, but definitely a good hills rating. Difference between those two, all of it is uphill. Right? Above 3%, you're getting a share of it. Above 5%, it's all this instead of flat. The difference between mountain and hills is the effort level. Meaning hills is going to be that high effort, try to break away from the field. So that's when you need more. So the type of riders that I'm looking at for comparison, Greg Van Avermaet, Julian Alaphilippe, Peter Sagan. Those are the mecca of the best classics riders, the ones who can do the most damage, who has the most potential to win those type of races. There's some others, but those guys kind of the chief ones. So I'm thinking a climber or no, puncher. I'm gonna go for puncher. There we go. So that already gives me a good flat rating. It gives me a good hills rating. It's gonna give me a good cobbles rating. It's gonna give me good acceleration downhill. Right off the bat. Now, stamina is a bit low where it should be. Stick resistance is really low from where it should be. So we'll have to work on those over time. Mountain is definitely low. It's going to need to be a little bit better than that, and definitely sprint. But I can work on those over time. I think that's a good setup for us. All right, so my initial choice of teams. A couple American, and an interesting choice here. I've got 2 Continental teams, 1 Continental Pro. Of course, Continental is the lowest level if you're new to this series, if you're new to this game, if you're new to the sport. There are 3 tiers in professional bike racing. You have the World Tour level. That's your Team Sky, which is now Ineos, your Quickstep, your Mitchelton Scotts, big teams. Continental Pro is the next tier below that, and you will often see Continental Pro teams racing amongst the World Tour teams, but they'll be the ones struggling in those races. So good examples there are Wanty Group Gobert, Cofidis. Those are teams that race amongst the World Tour. You've got usually 3 of those Continental Pro teams will get an invite to each major World Tour race. And then you have Continental. And Continental is that lowest step. It's professional. There's lots of Continental teams. There's far fewer Continental Pro teams. And they will often stick more to local races. They won't travel as far. Like a U.S. Continental team is going to do they're going to do all the U.S. races. They're going to do some, like Canadian races. And they're not going to do as much traveling to Oceania or to Europe. But for a 19-year-old just starting out, a Continental team is not a bad way to go. Now, these are the ratings of the teams. You can see that Rally, even though they're a Continental Pro team, and Evo Pro, they're actually the same level of quality, even though one is Continental and one is not. Now, I would instantly come in as 5th best out of 18 riders with Evo Pro, and I would be the best on the Northern Classics. And I can tell you already that you're going to get far more opportunities in Classics races in Europe with a European team than in the U.S. The U.S. is not known for Classics. It is stage racing through and through. Contracts the same throughout, so I think I'm going to take Evo Pro. And I have this affinity for green. I went to University of Oregon. That's our color scheme. And I happen to like black too. That's a slick looking jersey. Not that should matter in any way whatsoever in my selection. But, in the back of my head, there's still that kid in me that just a little bit likes that sort of thing. Favors that. Yeah, I admit it. Alright, well, this is just about loaded up. There we go. We have welcome to the team. Gamer, your first steps in the professional world are the start of a great adventure. Our team, Evo Pro Racing, is delighted to be able to count on you for the coming season. Good luck. It's January 1st of 2019. We are prepared. We are ready to jump in feet first. Not head first, but feet first. And get wet and get things off and rolling. Okay, trophy cabinet is of course empty as we are just getting started, and of course we have that minimal contract as well. Looks like our first race is gonna be about a month away. Probably not, actually. There's a good chance it's gonna come sooner, but I need to get myself set here in the season objectives and plan things out. And I like that I've waited to do this second series till the game has been out a few weeks and the Tour de France is underway, because I'm going to learn a lot more about... I've learned a lot more about the subtle changes from last year's game to this year's game that are going to be huge in things like my training program. So let's go ahead and get to the season objectives, get that all set so we can get you to that first race, because I know that's what you came to see. You didn't come to see me play around with the menus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight into, I want, yeah, very high preseason training. I want to be fit right off the bat from the start of the season, because the danger of that is you're going to get yourself into a situation where you have fatigue much sooner on. But if you know what you're doing with the training, you can defeat the fatigue and it not be an issue, and you can just maintain a high level of fitness all year long as you know what you're doing. When you start low, it takes a long time to build up that fitness. And I'm going to go for a schedule that's going to keep this green bar up here all year long. Now, I didn't think that this matters so much, but it matters a ton. Oh my goodness, your objectives are very, very important. So let's go from the first one, and we're going to take a look through here. I'm a classics rider. I want to be prepared for a classic. A classic is one stage. This is one stage. That's a stage race. There's 7 stages. That's what I need to get into, but that's not one that's going to be built for me. There's no cobbles, and it's not very hilly. So we're going to try to find one here on the calendar that we're going to prepare for, and that's a little bit better. Perry Camembert, probably. Tour de Finistère, a little better. Still not a classic. That's a classic, and it's a high objective. Okay, we'll use that as our first. Let's go to the start. So, the calendar is broken up into these 3 different time periods. Now, the reason why I was saying this is important is it used to be that you build fitness and you hit a fitness peak. Oh, that's a decent one. But it's also, that's a month and a half later. It's also, what was I saying? It used to be that you build your fitness and you hit a peak anytime you reach it. They've changed it. For the 2019 edition of Pro Cycling Manager, it is now tied to your objectives. It unlocks 8 weeks before. You cannot build fitness peak at all unless you're within that 2-month window. And then you have 2 months to build your fitness and hit that fitness peak, supposedly, for your race. That's okay. That's much better. Little punchy finish. But I do not, again, calendar, it's only a few weeks later. So you have 8 weeks to set it up. So we've got to look at the date. I'm already very late April on this one. So I need to push something into June so that I actually have time to build to that fitness level. So here we go. Now we're into a date in June, even though it's only a month and a half. National Road Championship in the U.S. That's actually not a bad way to go. It's a lot punchier. That's not the same course this year. But if it's all I have, I might have to take it. Yeah, that was the end of that period. But I guess we're going to tie it around that. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's not necessarily built for me. Ooh, here we go. Here's some classics. Exactly 2 months later, so I would instantly jump back into building that fitness peak. It's cobbles at the end. It's an objective. Let's do that. So go ahead and accept that. We need to move forward one day to put that into effect. There we go. Now we can change schedule. We can do our training, and here we go. This is our projected model for the year. We can see we build to fitness and it drops, and we build and it drops, and it builds and it drops. And look at all that fatigue in there. That is not good. Here is my recommendation. You want to train hard or not at all. And that's it. It's as simple as that. You need to take a break once every 5 weeks to avoid fatigue. It's as simple as that. Except it gets a little less simple when you start throwing in your race schedule. See, here's where fatigue kicks in. Fatigue kicks in. Take a break that week. Go back to hard training. Fatigue kicks in. That's because I didn't get a full break that week. So, take a break this week. It's only a couple days. And that's why this becomes a problem. So take a break that week. And see, now we're starting to run into an issue. If I train hard, we'll get just a little bit of fatigue right at the end of the week. But we'll keep that level of fitness up into the 90s. And that's a little bit better. So we'll train hard this week, but we'll take this week off. We're going to train hard this week. And you can see where the complications come in. And okay, fatigue. Ouch, fatigue again. Okay, I'm only going to go that far for now. That already takes me to the end of June. But you can see I could keep it above 90% throughout the season. Now, calendar. They want me involved in a non-classics right off the bat, where there's a much better one for me. I mean, that's better for me. 3 stages. Hilly. But I only have 15 points to alter my schedule. That's a decent race for me. Sud Ardèche. That's a decent one. Alright, well, I feel like I should drop one of these. I don't need to spend 9 stages doing something that's not suited to me. At least 2 of those are hill stages each. I'll just have to go for those and not for the overall. It's weird to not go as a stage racer, to be honest with you, as that's what I've focused on for so long, but I do have my career mode where there are other things happening. But we're going to jump into that first race here in just a moment. So they started me on 91% fitness. I have an average rating of 67 overall. I don't know anything about the rest of my team. It's interesting new feature where you unlock it over time. But looking at my attributes alone, and actually instead of the whole squad, let's just look at mine. There we go. So a 67 flat, 58 mountains, 66 hills, 69 for cobble, 67 acceleration, 68 downhill. That's what I'm working with initially. I'm just a 67. I'm a pretty weak rider at this point. I'm not going to do much early on. So I will be working mostly as a domestique, meaning I'm going to work for the team. I'm going to be working for somebody else to help them out, more or less. But the big thing here early on is I need to level up and I need to start getting some skills. We'll talk about that later, but let's go ahead and get into the first race of my career. So it's late January now, and I've reached my first career race, first stage. It's the Herald Sun Tour. This is the kind of the poor man's version of the Tour Down Under, Santos Tour Down Under, as we're down in Australia. It's a 5-stage race, and we open with a prologue race against the clock instead of against the field. I'll be coming up here in a little bit. 10 more riders till it is my turn to go on this very, very short prologue. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get myself set here. I am number 153 for this race. And yes, that is definitely a slick jersey and even helmet. I like it. Now, prologues are just about flat out, but this game is kind of designed in a way where when it comes to time trials, about a 76 seems to be the typical mark. So if I'm going at an 80 here, chances are my yellow bar, which is my stamina in a time trial, it's my resistance. It's my ability to ride hard. When that fades, I've emptied the tank and I slow down. I keep pedaling, but I'm pretty much spinning. The gray and black checkered, that's, well, checkered, as in like finish. When it's empty, we hit the finish line. So I need to maintain yellow bar versus checkered bar. If it's falling below, which you can see it is below right now, I'm going too fast, so I need to back off. We'll try 76 and see if that's good. By the way, this is only 8 kilometers. I have 7K to the finish line, and you can see I'm actually doing a little bit better here now. So I think about a 78 might be about right. We'll see. First checkpoint. I am in 75th, 27 seconds behind already. I'm actually still banking a little bit of energy here, so maybe the 80 was right. I just started with a little bit of a deficit in terms of energy. No, not quite. About a 79 seems to be. Oh, see, now I have a deficit. Gotta save a little bit more energy. Oh, little downhill section here. Accelerate through this because it will gain back a little. There you go. And coming up on the finish, final 800 meters. I'm going to run out of energy just before the finish line. You can see I sit down instead of attacking the finish. So 74th at a minute and 2 behind Cameron Meyer, who is currently the leader. Thiago Machado is currently in second. There are a couple World Tour teams here, a couple of the favorites still to go. But I'm going to speed things up to the finish, and we'll see just how far we drop. So we're already outside of the top 75 in this race, which is a real strange place for me to be because usually I'm a decent prologuer or time trialer, but that will not be the case for this rider. I've never done a classics rider before as a specialty, so this is going to be an interesting journey, and there's going to be a lot of firsts for me, and that already is a first because I'm going to be outside of the top 100. I couldn't tell you the last time I've had a rider that far down. Tom Boley, Swiss rider, has gone top by a single second over Meyer. All of my riders are well off the pace. In fact, Monk is our highest placed, and he's just about, there you go, outside of the top 75 now. Tom Boley hangs on for the win. Stefan Kung was a heavy favorite, another Swiss rider, by the way, manages to only go 4th best, 2 seconds down. But you can see there's a few big riders here. You got Toynes, you got Scoins, you got Machado, you got Kung. Meyer and Edmondson, I wouldn't say they're big names, but they're up there. Same with Boley, for that matter. But looking at the list here, World Tour, World Tour, World Tour, World Tour. Machado not on a World Tour team anymore, but he's spent most of his career on World Tour teams. How old is he now? 33, okay. World Tour, World Tour, World Tour, World Tour. Yeah, World Tour. You're getting the point. Out of the top 11, well, Daryl Impey, who just won a stage in the Tour de France here in real life this week. 10 of the first 11 riders were all World Tour. The one who wasn't was a World Tour rider for most of his career. So There's definitely some World Tour representation at this race, though it is not full of World Tour teams. But the World Tour teams that are here are probably going to dominate. Start of stage number 2, and I have been given the task of Barradur, meaning breakaway rider. The expectation for this by my team boss is that I should be in the front pack, the breakaway, for 90 kilometers of 130 in this stage. So I'm starting to work my way up to the front of the field, and now that I'm at the front, there's already some riders that have attacked off the front. So I myself am going to attack, but I'm having a little trouble here as these guys are not letting me go. I wonder if there's no way they think I'm too strong of a rider. Need to recover my red bar is my short attack bar, and without it right now, I can't attack. I don't think it was my actions that led them to try to get chased, but they certainly did not want to let me get away at that moment. Getting a little bit of an attack right here. I'm moving into a good position, ready to attack. It's a short gap to cover, but the pace, I'm not a fan of the pace right now. It's because I already have 2 teammates up the road. That's the main reason why they don't want to let me get away. But if we catch this first group, one of my teammates are going to be reeled back in. Lars Boom is going to be reeled back in. That's going to be a good opportunity for myself to be able to get up the road and join. So when I tried to break away, they instantly chased. Guaranteed, the reason for that is not because I'm too strong for a rider. They are not worried about that. I've got a low rating. But they don't want to allow 3 members of my team up the road and for us to work together. There we go. We just caught the first group, which means now I only have a single teammate up the road. Now there's only 4 riders off the front, and I think if I were to attack now, they would let me go. So we're going to try to do that here in just a moment. There we go. Moving up, moving up. Hagens Berman working hard, trying to control the field at the moment. They're still going to chase. There is not any more of a gap than there was. This is going to be difficult to cover. They're not far ahead, but that is a minute. It's more than you think. And I'm going at a 77 and still can't get off. So Hagens is... Are you guys getting ready to attack? Please, please do. I'd love to have somebody to go with. See, I can't break off the front when I just have increased effort, but I've finally got a little bit of a gap here. Let's see what happens if I attack. There we go. Off the front. This time they're letting me go. And I need to tone it down. Always save yourself a little bit of red bar. Oh, they are still close. They don't want to let me go. They do not want to let me go. It looks like the field is trying to reel me back in. No. Now they're sitting up. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. Oh. Gonna run out of energy, though. A little uphill section. But this is using my mountain rating, not my hills rating, so I'm going kind of slow here. But I've got to recover this red bar, otherwise I can't give those guys any sort of chase. Good on downhill, so I think I need to attack the downhill again. There we go. That's going to allow me to recover red bar as well. 18 seconds off the front. Almost a minute to that break. It's going to be really hard to catch them. I'm not sure I'm getting any credit off the front right now. No, I'm not. So I'm not in the front group. And, ooh, there are more attacks. So actually, what I can do is sit up a little bit and let some of these riders come with me. So again, let's see. Oh, one of my teammates is in there, which means they're going to chase. They did. They chased him down. I'm all alone now in that no man's land, and there's still riders pushing at the front. 4 on the front have it easy. There's the main group. And there's me, just ahead of them. It's 18 seconds, and I'm out of energy. So you can see my pace is going to come out, and they're going to catch me here in just a moment. Down to 9 seconds, 7 seconds, 5 seconds. Ooh, and we're on a climb too. This is going to be an issue. I do not want to work. Let's go maintain position. Please don't drop me from the group. No, Mr. Monk. I'm not going to be able to help you with that. Small split in the field, that's actually good for me. We're almost over the top of the climb. Look at the profile down here. That's the climb, category 2. Still going uphill for a little bit longer here, but I'm doing okay. I'm not getting dropped here, so it's alright. It's been amazing how easily the field is splitting right now. There's definitely some low-level continental teams here where it's easy for people to drop the wheel. Alright, so red bar is back. Now that that's back, I'm starting to get a little bit of yellow bar. Both of these, yellow and red bar, they're based on your resistance stat, which today, for me, is a 61. Today is affected by these green numbers, plus or minus. That's your race day condition. It's a bit random, but not entirely random. Check out my tutorial video for more in-depth on what that all is about. But I'm actually in a breakaway right now of 9 riders that are 40 seconds ahead. We're about to catch the 13 riders at the front. Bit of a surprising situation we've got ourselves in, but we very well could end up with a breakaway of 22 riders. Depends. I'm going to have to keep an eye on these two numbers. If this starts to grow, which it's not right now, I could easily bridge that gap. And get myself in a break. But I do not have any recovery just yet. Oh, we've caught him! We caught him! Okay, we got a breakaway group of 22 riders. Oh, this is a peculiar one. Guys are attacking the sprint. I would love to, but I don't have the stamina for that yet. Or the resistance recovered. Ouch. Come on. Turn this down a bit. I need to try to recover here for a little bit. So we are 30 seconds ahead of the field right now. And there you go. So that's why they weren't letting us do anything. The group was way too big, and the field was chasing, and that's why I was not recovering, because the pace was actually still really high. So I've picked up 6 kilometers on the front after we caught that group. But I'm still in a total failure moment. We've actually split again, and so it's still 22 riders, but now we're caught. It's a really weird situation, but now, suddenly, that we're caught, see how quickly the pace came out of the group. I would love to attack right now, but I don't have the ability to do so, so I'm going to have to sit on. We're going to speed things up a little bit. Struggling over the top of this climb, but there we go. And again with the splits, and no, it's yo-yoing on and off, but I'm starting to recover. This would be a good chance to get forward if they would let me. I'd be the only rider off the front, and they would probably not accelerate. So, here we go. Attack. Come on. Get me off the front. Good. Off the front. 10 seconds. 15 seconds. I couldn't attack for very long. It's 2 riders now. Who am I joined by? Van Gestel. 3rd rider coming off the front. I'm not going fast enough, but I can't afford to go much faster because I don't have the energy for it. We're more than half a minute ahead, so I'm going to try to ride on with this guy and see if we can't get a 3-man breakaway group. That's perfect. The field will absolutely sit up and let us go, and if they do that, then I will have the energy to make it. I will recover. Canaleas is struggling also.
There's now
taking a turn on the front. It's over a minute to the guy at the front of the field. We are 30 seconds ahead, but we're not catching up very well, and that's because our effort level is quite low, and it's because he is even more tired than I am right now. We're about to get caught here. And we've been caught. Dang it. One guy off the front. I got up to 10 kilometers. This has been a struggle to try to get any sort of actual breakaway today. Spent my whole time in my first actual regular stage of a stage race just playing around trying to get into a break, form a break. You can see the one rider off front, and the field is actually still chasing pretty hard. I mean, I'm not recovering much at all.
The pack is putting the squeeze on the breakaway.
Now, if I were to just stay in and sit, that last little climb suits me. But I'm not recovering because of the weird pace that we've been involved in. There's literally one rider off the front of the field, and they don't want to let him go. He's down to 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
That's the end of the breakaway. The pack gave them no chance.
Okay, so they've been caught again. They're going to sit up a little bit, yeah.
Either they're getting a bit hot, or they're saving themselves for the final dash.
Come on, I should be recovering faster than this. My resistance is just too low. It's recovering way too slowly. I would love to get off the front on that next little climb if there's still no break. Could maybe go for the win, possibly, but it looks like they're not letting anyone get away. I mean, there's riders off the back. This has been an amusing race. I'm actually enjoying this. It has not necessarily gone too well for me, but...
It's perhaps due to fatigue, but I bet on some sort of tactical choice.
Okay, we are coming up on that little climb. You can see right up here to the left. We're going to head up that hill. That's a good time. I've got a chance to do something here. Oh, I can't get to the front though. I'm just way too weak of a rider right now. That's what happens when you have a 67 rating and you know you're a kid just getting started. Look how far back I've gone. Even at a 79, even though I was in the front of the field a moment ago. I'm not there now. I need to work my way back up the field a little bit. And then I'm going to need to sit up if I want to just try to be in it towards the end. Okay, now I need to sit up even though I'm not at the front of the field right now. But if I want to be with the group at the end, get a better look of this one. There's a good chance that I'm going to get dropped on this climb coming up in a moment. Okay, there we go. We're going to go forward. No breakaway. Just 10 kilometers left. I'm going to go ahead and use my gel right now.
It's going to be difficult to break away now. The finish line is getting close. The riders just passed the 10 kilometers road sign.
Daryl Impey, Magnus Cort Nielsen trying to attack at the front. Almost over the top, but I'm running out of energy. As soon as this goes down, my pace is just going to fall away. There's the top. 7 riders off the front. Right at the back. Oof. Oh, there's a split right in front of me. I was just hanging on to the back, but these guys... Banishek, come on. He's one of my riders in career mode. There we go. Hey, we're back on. No, we're not. There's another split further up. 5 kilometers to go. Little downhill section here. But the lead group is 36 riders, and that's not the group that I'm in. Okay, let's try to start moving forward. 2.5K to go.
And the final sprint is off. Who's going to be the first to the line today?
1K to go.
Again, an attack is launched.
Sprint to the end. From Cousin over Magnus Cort Nielsen. Postelberger is second. Maurice is 4th. He's had some good results here in the Tour de France this year. Quite a few top 10s. Scoins is 7th. Impey is 8th. Feline is 9th. Frele is 10th. Those are all World Tour guys. Stefan Kung there in 15th. Meyer in 17th. They were in the top part of that first stage. And in my first stage, first real stage, non-prologue, non-time trial, competitive race, I get 56th. And spent most of the day fighting to get into a breakaway that never formed. There was never a real breakaway on the day, and that was a very, very high pace for what is expected, what would be normal. End up on same time, so I'm still technically in this thing. But of course I was way down the standings already. So that puts me still in 100th place. Minute and 4 down. How many people lost time? Oh, there you go. Outside of 110. So actually, of the 110 on same time, I'm in 100th position. Ouch. Bad evaluation because I only led for 10 of 90 kilometers. It was just a strange one. I get the beginning part where I already had 2 riders in my team that were away. That tends to be the limit. Okay, so here's an important point coming up. Every month, at the end of the month, it's February 1st now, that was the last day of January, you're going to get 50 points of natural progression. Not sure how that equals, because 50 points was level 1. Level 2 is 100 points. Alright, so I just leveled up for the first time. This is going to be really important because a couple things are happening. I'm going to get my progression of attributes. Very much looking forward to that one. And where do I want to go with that? Puncher is going to give me some definite, it's giving me cobbles. It's going to give me a big boost to my hills and actually mountains as well. Even flat. The sprint, the acceleration, I think I need to go with the puncher one. The stamina and resistance each go up, so I'm not even going to bother looking anywhere else. We're going puncher. Okay, the next big piece, though, is I get this skill point. Now, here's the thing about all these options. I'm not going to go through them one by one here with the little time that I have. But I can tell you that discovery, not a big deal. Eventually, sure. Race, cool things, but not things you need initially. Personality, not such a big deal there either. There's one that has value. That's attentiveness. Those 50 points that I just got, that got me to level up, each one of these, you're going to add 5 more points to it. That's if you're on Grand Champion, by the way. If you're on a lower level, it gives you less skill points every month. But 5 points, 5 points, 5 points, meaning you'd get 65 every month. Here's the thing about that attentiveness. Every month that goes by that you're not getting those bonus 15 points, it's time wasted. You do that later in your career. You spend skill points on this later in your career, and the value goes down each month that you didn't have it. If you have it right from the beginning, well, then it's got a bit of value to it, or at least more value to it. But every month that goes by, every level up that you have that you don't use on attentiveness, the value of it becomes less and less and less. So it's something you need to do right away, or probably not bother doing at all. Now, my other pro cyclist career, I did it right away. My first 3 levels were all attentiveness. I'm not sure if I want to do that this time. Especially, I want to keep that fitness really high. Performance, this is the one that's going to have your biggest impact. At least with the fitness peak and the training. So, it's kind of your first 3 targets, really. I still want to go for the attentiveness I want those 15 points, but I don't think I want to spend my first levels on it. I'm going to spend my first level on training. I'm going to spend my second level on a fitness peak, and then I'll go for my next 3 levels on attentiveness. That's my plan anyway. We'll see if I stick to it. But training level 1. Now, what I get for training level 1, I get less fatigue from training, meaning I'm not going to have to take these breaks as often. You can see that I keep this on hard. It didn't go away. Keep that on hard. You can see that the fatigue not showing up as early as often. So it's a lot easier to maintain that green bar, unlike before. All right. So looking at that scale now, remember I only went through June, July. You see now I've got a fitness almost to 100% continually. So no more rise and falls, no more up and down roller coaster stuff. Just keeping a high level of fitness, which is that race day condition, the one that I said I wasn't going to go into detail. High level of fitness, boost to that race day condition, meaning you're a better rider day in, day out than you would be with a lower fitness level. Where you actually get negatives. You can subtract that. Right, well, hey, that is the beginning. That is episode number 1. Now, this series is going to have new episodes twice a week, every Wednesday and Sunday. I have my other Pro Cyclist, which is every Tuesday and Saturday. I have my career mode for 2019, which is every Monday and Friday. I also have my 2018 career mode series still going on. It's been going on for a long time now. It's well over 60 episodes. If you want to check that one out, check it out from the beginning. There's not a whole lot of differences between PCM 19 and PCM 18. So if you haven't seen that one, you want to see a long series and you've caught up on these episodes real quick of these 2019 series and you want to see more content, check that one out because it's still going on. But I have a new episode of that once a week now instead of twice a week. But with 4 series and 3 of them twice a week and 1 of them once a week, that means I have 7 new episodes every single week, meaning there is a Pro Cycling Manager video every day of the week. That is intentional, that is on purpose. And then there's 1 episode of some other game every day as well. So I try to keep 2 episodes coming out every single day. Lots of content for you to check out. But I'm Decathlon Gamer, and that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.